Good morning, dear students. In the last lecture, we discussed about some general things about disaster, its effect, types, etc. Today, we'll talk about the disaster mitigation and management strategies in this lecture. So, let's start our today's lecture. Till very recently, the approach towards dealing with the natural disasters has been post disaster management, involving problems such as evacuation warnings, communications, search and rescue, firefighting, medical and psychiatric assistance, provision of relief, shelter, etc. Natural occurrences such as floods, earthquakes, cyclones, etc. will always occur. They are a part of environment that we live in. However, the destruction from the natural hazards can be minimized by the presence of a well-functioning warning system combined with the preparedness on part of the community that will be affected. Disaster management is a multidisciplinary area in which a wide range of issues that range from forecasting, warning, evacuation, search and rescue, relief, reconstruction and rehabilitation are included. It is also a multi-sectoral, such as it involves administrators, scientists, planners, volunteers and communities. So the people or the experts from different sectors are involved to mitigate the disaster effects and to minimize the effects of any particular disaster. These roles and activities span the pre-disaster, during disaster and post-disaster plans. The early warning system for the range of natural hazards are available at present. However, they are not enough to ensure communities are safe from the disasters. This is where the disaster mitigation can play an important role. The mitigation means lessening the negative impact of a natural hazards. It can be defined as a sustained action taken to reduce long-term vulnerability of a human life and property to natural hazards. The main elements of the mitigation strategies can be summarized as follows. First, the risk assessment and vulnerability analysis. This involves identification of hotspot areas of prime concern, collection of information on the past natural hazards, information of natural ecosystems and information on population and infrastructure. Once this information is collected at uh, a risk assessment should be done to determine the frequency, intensity, impact and the time taken to return to the normalcy. The The use of geographical information system, a computer program can be a valuable tool in this process as the primary data can be easily updated and the corresponding assessments can be made. The next strategy could be applied research and technology transfer. There is a need to establish or upgrade observation equipments and networks, monitor the hazards properly, improve the quality of forecasting and warning, disseminate information quickly through the warning systems, and undertake disaster simulation exercises. The next strategy is public awareness and training. One of the most critical component of mitigation strategy is the training to be imparted to the officials and staff of various departments involved at the state and district level. The success of mitigation strategy will depend to a large extent on the intersectional, interdepartmental coordination and efficient teamwork. The next mechanism to mitigate the disaster is institutional mechanisms. The most important need at the national level is to strengthen or develop the capacity to undertake disaster mitigation strategies. In view of this, the National Disaster Management Authority, which is named as NDMA, was established in India in 1999 to perform such tasks. Another strategy could be incentives and resources for the mitigation. To a very large extent, the success of mitigation programs will depend upon the availability of continued funding. Thus, there is a need to develop mechanisms to provide stable sources of funding to all the mitigation programs. Another mitigation measure is land use planning and regulations. The long-term disaster reduction efforts should aim at promoting appropriate land use in the disaster-prone areas. Special maps for the coastal regulation zones, earthquake-prone regions, river floodplains should be prepared well in advance and introduced into the land use planning. Another mitigation measure is hazard resistant design and construction. In areas that are prone to the disasters, protection can be enhanced by careful selection of sites and the way to building are built. In this picture you can see this is a earthquake proof building that was designed and constructed in Japan. The white structures on the outside of this building are actually the cables which provide the strength to this building. So such type of hazard resistant designs uh, are required to be innovated, and the constructions should be done keeping in mind about the impact of uh, that particular disaster which has happened in the past in that affected area. So the another strategy involves structural and constructional reinforcement of the existing buildings. It is also possible to reduce the vulnerability of existing buildings through minor adaptations or alterations, thereby ensuring their safety. This can be done by various methods such as insertion of walls on the outside of the building and construction of buttresses. In this picture also you can see the slanting walls are actually example of buttresses structure that support a building during natural disasters such as earthquake. And another measure could be portico fill-in walls and use of specially anchored frames to provide extra support to the building, and covering the columns and beams, and construction of new frame systems, etc. So these are some of the structural and constructional reinforcement designs which can be introduced to the existing buildings to minimize the negative impact of any particular natural disaster in that area. So that was all about today's lecture, and in the next lecture we'll talk about floods and the mitigation measures which should be taken to minimize the effects of floods in any area. So that was all about today. Thank you very much.